What's up, everybody? Happy 26th day of December, the day after Christmas. And as someone astutely told me just a couple of minutes ago, Boxing Day. That's right. For those of you overseas there, Boxing Day. So very excited to be here to talk some geek news items, because just because there's a holiday doesn't mean the news doesn't keep moving along. We've got some stuff to talk about here on the show today, and we're going to get into our best and worst comic book superhero movies and TV shows of 2025. So get your lists out, put them together. We're going to get into some battles over this thing as well. And I will be co-hosting with someone I've never co-hosted before. So this is you rarely do new things in this business, in this corner of the business. So I'm very excited to be doing this with my co-host here in just a couple of seconds. Let's get it going. And there you go. That's the intro. There you go. I've never seen that intro before, so very fun to see it here. I am co-hosting Capes and Cowls today, sitting in for my brother Kristian Harloff, who's hanging out with his family. My lady's out of town, unfortunately, so I am here. I have time to sit and co-host the show today. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas and a great time hanging out with friends and family, or solo, however you chose to spend it. And for those of you who maybe had a bit of a rough time yesterday, I'm glad you got through it and you're hanging out with us today. We love you madly, and we appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us. And look, you could hang out with just me and my pretty face, but it wouldn't do the show justice, because we need to have an even prettier face, a better analyst, and a smarter person co-hosting here with me today. And that, of course, is the lovely and great Chris Carr. How do I bring her up into this thing? Oh, there we go. There she is. There Yay! She is. Hi, Chris.
Excellent. Hi, John. How you doing?
Good. First time working together. Very nice to meet you. How are things on your end?
Oh, great over here. We did Feast of Seven Fishes for Christmas Eve. I had like 13 people in my house.
Wow.
Which was great. No one drove a car through my living room. So wonderful work. It's been really nice. How about for you? What have you been up to?
Well, unfortunately, I had to spend it alone yesterday because my lady had an emergency with her mom, emergency surgery, and she had to drive up 6 hours yesterday morning to Madeira to be there with her mom and help her through. She had a bad hernia surgery and came out of nowhere on Christmas Eve. We were literally at Christmas Eve dinner when we got the call. And so I got to spend it alone yesterday, but it was still got a chance to see a bunch of stuff and hang out and do things, but I missed later. She'll be back on Sunday though.
Good. We'll have is she doing better?
Christmas. Yes. Her mom is fine.
Okay.
Doing
Good.
better, but she just wants to be there to guide her through some stuff. But other than that, a good Christmas overall.
Good.
What do you guys normally do for Christmas on your end besides the feast?
Christmas Day? Yeah, Christmas Day is usually just us hanging out. We have some champagne. We call our families. Logan's family's all in Nebraska and DC. Mine is all in Florida. So we just kind of make sure we get those calls done. And then we usually watch a bunch of trash. But this year, we had good stuff to watch. So it was great. We had a fun time. Yeah. What's your usual tradition?
Oh, yeah, totally. Same thing. Christmas Day is, well, I mean, yesterday was watch a lot of sports. Now that there's NBA and NFL on the same day. So going back between those two. But then, of course, Stranger Things last night, which I've not finished. I started, but it's a lot to ask for the time. But I will finish it sometime today for sure. But yeah, other than that, just chilling out and enjoying. And I watched A Christmas Carol from 1951. That's my favorite one.
Ooh,
and then A Wonderful Life, of course. It's A Wonderful Life, of course. Always wrapping up that way.
Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. But we are here to talk about things going on in the world of geekdom and in the world of capes and cowls, I guess I would say. So please excuse me, everybody, if I stumble through this, because I've never hosted capes and cowls before, so I don't know what the particulars are. But Chris, isn't it time you get added to this opening intro as some sort of comic book character? Have you been lobbying? I mean, how long have you been doing the show now?
I joined in May, and I love Coy being in there. He is like Spider-Man's my guy, so I understand that I already took that one. I would really like to be in there as Squirrel Girl or as Jeff the Shark. I feel like those are two viable options for me.
I like the Squirrel Girl. I like the Squirrel Girl thing. Jeff the Shark would be great as well. That's hilarious. All right. Well, today we got ourselves some stuff to talk about. As I said at the top, we're going to talk about the best and worst, or maybe not. I don't know, worst. I guess we get into worst, but best and worst comic book superhero movies and TV shows of 2025. I don't know how long this conversation is going to go, but we got so much to talk about on that end, Chris. But also, there are some other elements that have popped off over the last couple of days. We'd love to get your thoughts on it if there's time to jump into that as well. But look, folks, super chats are so important. It's the day after Christmas. You're flush with money now. You got money from your grandma in that envelope. You could definitely send in some super chats here as we go along. I don't know if we're going to beat Mike Kalinowski's 215 super chats because we're probably not going to get into porn star conversations, but we might have a shot, Chris. We might have a shot for people who have, we're already at 30. So that's pretty amazing. 10 minutes into the show. So let's get into 250. Let's get to 215.
We can try to have a nice kid-friendly porn star conversation. She says concerned. I'm just going to Sesame Street a bunch of terms. It's going to be great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So anyway, let's get into this thing. So the first thing we want to talk about is these superhero movies. This comic book movie did a nice little write-up on them. So I'm going to share it on the screen here, and we can read along, and I'll keep us on the screen. I hope that's not a problem for you, Chris. I like doing that.
Oh, that's perfect. That's why I do it too. I get too confused.
Right on. So it's back from Marvel and DC. The last of 2025's comic book adaptations wrapped up in October with Peacemaker Season 2. Fortunately, there's plenty to look forward to in 2026 with Supergirl, Spider-Man Brand New Day, Avengers Doomsday, and Born Again Season 2, Wonder Man, and Lanterns. I've been loving the Wonder Man promos, by the way. This year is even a challenging one. So, as you've likely figured out by now, this feature ranks 2025 superhero movies and TV shows. So, according to them, they put Peacemaker Season 2 at number 7 of 7. So, that's pretty low ranking for Peacemaker Season 2. Ironheart is number 6. Captain America Brave New World, number 5. It's ironic that they don't even put Captain America in the thumbnail for that one. Number 4 is Daredevil Born Again, the first season. Number 3 is Superman from James Gunn and the crew there. Number 2, Thunderbolts. And number 1, they have Fantastic Four First Steps. A little rough around the edges at times, but some big edits were clearly made to get this movie under 2 hours. Still, the result is a pitch-perfect take on Marvel's first family. So again, Fantastic Four, number 1. Thunderbolts, number 2. Superman, number 3. Daredevil Born Again, number 4. Captain America, number 5. Ironheart, 6. And 7 is Peacemaker Season 2. So first, Chris, your overall thoughts on this list. And second, where do you rank these yourself?
I mean, first of all, I want to give credit to the person who did this list for doing pros and cons for every single thing. It wasn't a complete takedown of anything, which I always love. You can find something to like in here.
Sure.
I do. It's all subjective, but this wouldn't be my order. You know, I would put Captain America in the final place, just because they keep doing my boy Sam Wilson dirty. They need to give him better content. The movie, like the great, interesting story was in there, right? With Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah.
Focus on this. Focus about, more of Sam's journey into being the face of Captain America and that pushback that he's been getting and the stuff that Isaiah had to go through. Don't make it a Hulk movie. For why? There also is a glaring spot missing here, at least for me. And that is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Oh, great point. Yes.
It's a wonderful, that's honestly the thing that I want to talk to you about is that I think is the best comic book content that was put out this year. It's so well done. It's the best what if story without being part of what if. Right. I think it's really, really smart and clever. The animation that goes back to kind of the Steve Ditko style, but a 3D rendered version of it is really cool. The comic book panel usage. I just think it's such a fun one. And then, for me, Fantastic Four, ultimately it was a little disappointing. I just expected that movie to be a little more fun. I feel like we jumped in with the family part, like having Franklin and everything a little early for my taste.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of where I'm at. How do you feel about the list?
Well, first of all, this is a great point you bring up, Chris. There are other superhero type content that was not included in this list. I'm looking at the IMDb ranking right now. Gen V season 2 came out this year.
That's true.
Right? A new season of Harley Quinn came out this year. Marvel Zombies came out this year, which I personally liked and will defend. Eyes of Wakanda kind of came and went this year.
Yeah.
Invincible. We had a new season of Invincible, of course, that came out this year as well. So 5 extra projects, as you mentioned, obviously, your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, 5 extra projects to add to the 7 that are already listed. But I love that you brought up your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I am not a person who necessarily runs to animation, although I love it and totally support it and think it's an awesome medium. I have a number of friends who work in it. But for me personally, I don't always jump to it. So if I'm going to give it a shot, to stick with it, it's got to really appeal to me personally. And I loved your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man as such a brilliant and interesting and new take on these characters. The way they went about the relationship that Peter Parker had with all of the characters in the show and what he's dealing with the multiverse and the way they did the Doctor Strange stuff. All of it is really fascinating and very interesting. And I thought the voiceover work overall was great as well. And you're so great. You're so smart to bring up the Ditko stuff. That was such an element of this as an old school fan of this kind of stuff. It was great to see that artwork in animation there on the screen.
Absolutely. I just think a lot of people slept on it, I think, because it's animation.
Yeah,
and this is one of those instances too, where it's the medium being used to really, really support the kind of original IP and its original intention. And just the reimagining of all these characters, like you just brought up, Lonnie Lincoln, what a great use of this character. What a weird mentorship to have Norman in the kind of Tony Stark seat. Like there's just so many smart moves. And at a time that I think a lot of people have, multiverse fatigue. Yeah. This did it in such a way that you went, oh, this makes sense. And also you see so much of the Parker luck. I love Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I adore him. And we obviously see him have some pretty bad days. But I like that we also kind of revisit the idea of Peter having to lie to his friends and family, having actual consequences, making the people in his life not like him because he's trying to be out here save the day, and then having some real danger. I mean, he suffers PTSD in this show. Yeah. It's so well executed.
I agree. And the voiceover work, Hudson Thames here as Peter, I thought was really great in capturing that Peter for this particular project. I thought Eugene Bird as Lonnie Lincoln was damn good. That relationship, as it progressed, I love that they said it and took a chance to set it in the as a black man dealing with a young black man dealing with the pressures of gangs in the inner city and what he's going to do, what he's not going to do, what paths he's going to walk, and the reasons he makes the decisions that he makes, which are connected to his family and protecting his family. Like all of that was much more nuanced than you would normally think you'd get in something like this. And I appreciated the gutsiness of them being able to do it. And Kari Walgren, who's always great when she does any voiceover work, as Aunt May.
Incredible.
And Coleman Domingo. Coleman Domingo as Norman Osborn was such a great revelation. Yeah. So much so that people wanted him live action down the road, if that's possible, for sure.
Would be obsessed.
What other ones that you think stood out to you that you really liked on this list or on the extra list that we talked about?
On the extra list, I still have to catch up on Gen V. That was a show that I watched a couple episodes of season 1 and went, I don't know if this is for me. And I know I need to come back to it. Winston keeps telling me that's so good.
Oh, yeah.
So I do need to get back into that one. I'm surprised, but I understand the 3rd place ranking for Superman in this.
Yeah.
They do a great job explaining it too, of like, hey, like this should not take away or diminish the fact that this is an excellent film that is super well done. Please don't think that it being in 3rd means that we didn't like it. It's just here's some things that like maybe could have been executed better, et cetera, et cetera. Because that was one that is probably my favorite in theater, one of my favorite in theater experiences this year, because everyone was just having so much fun and you could feel that kind of hope around you. The I'm a punk rocker, yes I am at the end, everyone else just kind of cheering through it. That was just a great reminder of why I like to see things in theaters and connect with people there. And I feel like that movie embodies that kind of thing. And then genuinely surprised too. Ironheart, I didn't love it the first time I watched it. I gave it a second view, and I still don't think it fired on all cylinders. And I'm really worried to see what's going to happen with that character, because I feel like Disney did just kind of dump it, where it was like, hey, here's your show, and they walked away. Second viewing, I think there was a lot more in there than I gave it credit for the first time. It's just trying to do so much in so little time. And I think they still aren't sure what they want to do with Riri. It feels like they're kind of spaghetti at the walling. I don't know.
You're so right. I think you're right. And that's the frustrating part about these last couple of phases is they committed to a direction initially, but then within the direction, they started to make changes and edits and cuts and cut downs, and not all of it was related to COVID, as we saw with Captain America Winter Soldier. That's a COVID situation. But some of these most recent ones, like Echo and Ironheart and possibly even Wonder Man, we'll see. They toss all this stuff out there, drop it on one, and like, okay, or drop it over 2 weeks as they did with Ironheart. And then they're like, well, we did our diligence. We put it out there. And it's like, no, you didn't give it the push that other things have. And it's because you sensed that people might not 100% like it, and you didn't want to get involved in the war. Well, this is your job. And to me, is if you're going to make this content and put it out there, then stick both of your feet out there and stand behind it and promote it and push it and support it. And I don't think they did. Even if the fans don't like it, we've seen quite a lot of content that if studios get behind it, somehow they find an audience. And I think this is a fair point you're bringing up here for sure.
Oh, 100% with you on this. If you're going to make something, just own it. Just own that you did it. Give it the love and attention that it deserves, because at the end of the day, there's so many people who worked on it to make it something, and it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Just no one's ever going to like everything. That's fine.
Exactly.
Just take some ownership. Don't do the weird little, I hate it.
Yeah, I would absolutely put Superman #1. I would, not because I think it's necessarily better. Well, I do actually think it's a better film than Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. I do in the end think it is a better film, and it had a more resonant effect on the comic book superhero fandom and on DC, resuscitating DC. So I think for all the metrics that you've got to measure a film by, Superman and a TV show by, I think Superman is absolutely #1 overall. I think Fantastic Four, the edits hurt the film, and ironically, they actually should have let the film be 2 hours and 20 minutes, give us more with Galactus, more of the background with Mole Man, more of the stuff with Reed and Sue, and see their relationship a little bit more. I think that we even had scenes with Natasha Lyonne cut from the film where she's rumored to be a rabbi. And so they made all these decisions. And the same thing with Captain America, Brave New World. They made all these decisions because they got afraid to be political. And I think when you make a decision about the content of, the direction of the content, and then change your mind halfway through, you're not going to be able to redo everything to make it work. So it feels a little like half-assish in when you're presenting these concepts, like her being Jewish and a rabbi, or Captain America, what's it like to be a black superhero in America and deal with what that's all about. As you mentioned so astutely, the Isaiah Bradley stuff, that was sitting right there. And I think if someone like Damon Lindelof had done Captain America Brave New World, or Ryan Coogler, right? You go deeper into what it's like to have this experience in America and what that entails. And so, unfortunately, I think there were decisions made high above these creators that cuts were put in that affected the overall power that these films could have had, and TV shows could have had. Yeah.
Absolutely. And people are always going to decide how political something is for them anyway, right?
Yes, of course.
You can watch
100%.
Something and there's a threshold of the internet that is just like, is this woke? Is this political? Is this left? Is this right? Everyone's going to always make something about them. You can make anything fit any agenda if you really try hard enough. So again, if you're going to have a message of some kind, just give it to us. Say what you want to say, as opposed to trying to walk that line where you're thinking you're going to appease everybody. If you're a people pleaser, right? No one's ever pleased. You don't please any people ultimately, least of all yourself. That's what I wish Marvel made some decisions on with this year in particular, of like, don't try to appeal to the masses. Make the story you want to tell.
Yeah, 100%. You're 100% right, Chris, for sure. We're going to get into more of this, though. We're going to talk about more of this. Let us know what your favorite superhero comic book TV and film adaptation was of 2025. We're going to get into more of these other ones here that are on the list as well as we progress through the show today. But we got to get in some ads first, though. So sit back, relax for a couple of minutes. We'll be right back right after this.
I get giddy when I talk about Butcher Box. I love Butcher Box. One of the greatest things I've ever discovered. And I'm so glad that you guys get to discover it too. With the holiday season, if you're trying to stay on track during cookies and cocktail season, Butcher Box, it takes something off your plate by putting something better on it. It's got clean, high-quality protein delivered to your door, so your meals are going to stay simple, they're going to stay satisfying, and actually nourishing, even in December. I know, it's tough to believe, but you guys know, you've been seeing it. I have been keeping myself in shape because I've been eating well, and Butcher Box is to be thanked. For nearly a decade, Butcher Box has led the industry with meat and seafood that is antibiotic-free, hormone-free, Independently verified, it's cleaner, more trustworthy version of what you'd find at the grocery store, but delivered right to your door. I've been eating a lot of chicken. I've been eating a lot of steaks. My wife and I have been messing around with these steaks and cooking them in new ways. And boy, oh boy, are they just quality steaks. I like seafood. My kids really like shrimp. And they listen, they've got everything. They've got everything. I love it. So if you want an exclusive offer, our listeners are going to get free steak. I just told you how good they are in every box for a year. Plus $20 off your first box, but you have to go to butcherbox.com/Christian. That's right. Do you hear what I said? Your choice of filet mignon, New York strip, or ribeye in every box for an entire year, plus $20 off your first box and free shipping always. Butcherbox.com/Christian. Do not forget to use our link so they know that we sent you. You are going to thank me. I love ButcherBox. Okay, here's something that most doctors know that most men never talk about. Stress from work, money, and family, it doesn't just disappear at night and follows you into the bedroom. You can be lying next to the person you love for years, and suddenly your mind will not let your body do what it has always done naturally. For situations like that, doctors look for treatments that help both the brain and the body, and that is where Rougiette Ready comes in. Unlike Viagra and Cialis, Rougiette Ready is a next-generation prescription treatment designed to help prime your brain for arousal and increase blood flow. It combines 3 clinically proven ingredients in 1 minute. It dissolves under your tongue. It absorbs fast. Boom. Most men are ready in about 15 minutes on average, so you can stay present, confident, and in control when the moment is right. Now, over 150,000 men have already made the switch to Rougiette. Getting started? Easy. Rougiette connects you with a board-certified doctor online, and your order ships discreetly to your door. For a limited time only, head to Rougiette.com/Christian. You're going to get 15% off. Rougiette, RUGIET.com/Christian. Get 15% off your order. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.
There you go, everybody. Butcher Box and Rougiette. Pay attention. Go and use the code and get some great stuff from them. And that way they keep supporting the Kristian Harloff Show and this channel going forward with all the shows that we got on it. All right, let's bring Chris Carr back into this situation here. All right, Chris, let's keep. Oh, what's that one? That's a new one. Let's keep going, Chris. What's next on your list? Like, what other superhero movie or TV show do you want to hit on and talk about? That's some of your favorite from this year.
Ooh, I mean, like I mentioned too, Invincible, I thought season 3, and I completely forgot to add that to the list in general. Invincible season 3 is fantastic. It is really, really great. And that is a show that I think has had some dips here and there. If you've read the original comics too, they've done such a great job, I feel, of doing the adaptation as a whole, particularly if you go all the way back to season 1, that very first episode with the reveal at the end. Oh, it was so great. I was so excited for everyone who I made watch it to be like, no, just stay there. Wait a second. And I feel like the finale for this season was really, really excellent. I already saw somebody in the chat do this and they totally nailed it. You can tell that's where all the money went. Was just like the last episode is beautiful. The fight choreography on that show is just really well done. The animators are killing it. The voice acting on that, I mean, you don't get really better than, Steven Yeun, J.K. Simmons, like that's voice acting royalty to me, all the way back to him being the yellow M&M. Come on, J.K. I love that guy, but that was one that really, really stuck out to me. And then Thunderbolts, I think I'm surprised that one didn't get more love in theaters. I assume it's because not everyone knew who everyone was if you weren't keeping up with all of the shows, but it was really cool to see a superhero film tackle mental health so directly. And that's like kind of what we were talking about earlier. Tell me the story you want to tell. Make your point. Stand firm in that. And they really committed to that idea of having this, literal monster that can take over with your mental health. And I think that was a beautiful, beautiful film. And oh my gosh, Yelena, Red Guardian, never better than that movie.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I enjoyed that film a lot. I went 3 times to see that one in the theaters to support it in my own way, because I'm someone who has struggled with mental health. So it's like, if you're going to do something in the superhero world with mental health, I want to support it in any way that I can. I thought the film itself it gets better every time you watch it, and it's not that it's bad the first time you watch it. It's good the first time you watch it, but once you release a little bit of the expectations and you watch it a second and third time because you know what's going to happen, you see much more of the kind of smaller micro moments that are going on in Yelena's journey and in Sentry's journey and what's going on with them personally. And then when they have their moments together in the film, there's a lot of power. And then when you look at the chemistry that I think all of them had with each other, it was so much fun. And I had the benefit of having seen all the projects all those characters were from. So for me, it was nice to get a little more time with all of them, other than Taskmaster. It was nice to get a little bit of time with all of them to see what they could develop and what they could develop into. I do think calling the New Avengers was probably a little bit of a step too far for what you're establishing there, but I still enjoyed what we got. And I think it was the best version of Valentina I've ever seen, who I have not always liked as a character in the MCU. Nothing as JLD, because JLD's royalty, but I haven't always thought they've used her the best or given her the best lines or put her in the best situations. But I thought they used her really well in Thunderbolts. And of course, the Red Guardian stuff with Yelena, good God almighty. I've broken half a couple of times. Just the back. I mean, when he says to her, to motivate her near the end there, he's always loved her. And he's like, she's got that power within her. And always when he looked at her, you're my daughter. And there's just so much there, for people who have had those moments with their own respective parents. There was such a universal thing there that I thought was great. But also the inventiveness of Sentry's mind when they go into the void. I thought there was a lot to be said about that as well.
Oh yeah, it's executed so well. And I know they had the whole A24 trailer. That truly was Marvel's A24 film.
Yeah.
And it was so fun because of that. It made it so great. And I know you brought up Marvel Zombies earlier. I really want to talk to you about this actually.
Yeah.
Because that's another moment of, I'm also just a big David Harbour actor fan. I think he's an excellent performer. His work as Red Guardian, even when he is doing the voiceover, is still so incredible. It's so great. My husband's a dialect coach too, and he is obsessed with listening to David Harbour be Russian. He's like, oh, he's so good. But that was there were so many heartbreaking moments for him in Marvel Zombies that I was not prepared for. Because I went into that just being like, oh, this is going to be fun. It's going to be metal. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I got emotional several times. What about it did you really enjoy?
Oh, I think the animation style was excellent. And I liked the story that were just plopped in there. And this is what's going on. This is the world. Deal with it. It's a little, and I really appreciated that. And you're right to point out the Red Guardian's emotional journey throughout this with Yelena, but with other people in the show as well, because I think he loses Rachel Weisz all over again. So having that element of it too, I thought was really great. And I thought the places they took it were a lot of fun to go along for the ride, and the environments they took us into, and who was a zombie, who wasn't a zombie, who was on board and who wasn't, and how they navigated those different situations to try to climb out at the end and try to defeat this whole thing. I thought was amazing. And I liked the final episode. I liked the final battle. I thought there was some great moments where they removed the sound, where you're seeing the amount of power that is involved in fighting with the Hulk and all of that goes on there at the end. So to me, again, if you got me in animation, I'm hooked. It's because in my opinion, it's damn good. And I thought Marvel Zombies, I couldn't wait to get to the next episode every time I finished one episode. So I had a really good time with that one. 100%. Yeah.
So fun.
What about the other big thing? Well, we talked a little bit about Captain America: Brave New World. So, is there anything more you want to say on that one, or should we talk about Peacemaker season 2? What happened there?
Oh, let's dive into Peacemaker, because I didn't dislike it as much as other people.
Go ahead, Chris. You have the floor.
Do I agree? I think they nail it in this article. Did we maybe lean into on-screen gags and jokes a little too much that detracted from the story? At times, yeah. I think that totally is a fair criticism of this. Something that Harloff has brought up a lot is just the orgy. Why is this here? And I'm also kind of on the same page of that, where it was, I don't know if this makes sense here. This just feels like my reminder that this is not TV, this is HBO. Right. You know what I mean? We can have as much nudity as you want in this superhero thing because it's on HBO. But it just didn't feel necessary, maybe. Particularly just, I guess, because, Peacemaker is fully clothed during it and was, what are you doing here? What's happening? So that kind of threw me off. But I think the stuff they did with Earth X, I think a lot of the ideas they were trying to get into, setting up Salvation, I think there's a lot of promising stuff here. It's just, we did a little too much, let's listen to some live music or let's do some gags. And I feel like that's maybe why some people didn't love this one in comparison to the first one that had so many beautiful, beautiful moments. But John Cena is so incredible in the second season. All the stuff with his family on Earth X is incredible. He's fighting for his life. He's doing a great job.
Yeah, I thought there were some. I mean, that moment when they're trying, we might get into a little bit of spoiler territory, so just letting you guys know ahead of time. But like that moment when he stops his crew from killing his brother again, like that scream against the wall. Like I have followed John Cena since his debut match in the WWE against Kurt Angle. Like I have seen this guy, and I haven't always been the biggest fan of John Cena as a performer or some of his vignettes in the WWE, but you can't deny the man's incredible success. So the transition, I was like, I don't know if this guy has the chops. And then you watch him and see how he's grown as an actor through the process with some of the great comedic moments in Trainwreck, or the stuff in was the one with Tina Fey and Amy Poehler Sisters, I think is what it's called. Like there are some great comedic moments for him. And then this series came along, and sometimes it's a happy accident. You know, it was supposed to, the rumor was Batista was pretty much in line for it, but then John Cena got it for whatever reason, and he killed it in the first season, and they went next level with his dramatic work in the second season. The stuff that with Jennifer Holland and his emotions for her and the desire for her and his own confronting his own stuff and how do I put it together? Because it's something to confront your issues. It's another thing to get past your issues and find how to be a healthier person. That's the next phase. And you saw that in season 2, right?
Yeah.
And then that got exposed when he went into Earth X and he got to live out this fantasy life with this person. But then, of course, when he found out what was really going on there, it was a whole nother, lack of a better term, a mind fuck for him to deal with. And then by the end, the stuff with him and his dad, because you're completely on one side about his dad in Earth X. And then to hear him push back and say the things that he said, it just kind of messes with you as a viewer. How do I feel about this? And here's the truth. Relationships are complicated. Family relationships are super complicated. And so the fact that they were willing to go to that level with the show, I thought was really great. And I enjoyed
100%.
most of the season, right? I thought the finale didn't quite nail it, which was disappointing, but the majority of the season, I was thoroughly on board with and appreciated the gutsiness of it, you know?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, the stuff with his dad. I sobbing. Was just like, wait, what? No, what do you mean? I was the Jennifer Lawrence meme from Hot Ones. I couldn't help myself anymore. But I think you nailed it. Is they really pushed a lot of what you can do with your hero, even if they are an anti-hero. Of really exploring them at their lowest, really looking at how selfish they can be, but then grappling with trying to not be that selfish. I just think it's such a good character study overall. And like you, finale didn't really land for me, but it's also because I feel like it was setting up so much stuff that feels like a Peacemaker season 3 as opposed to going into movies. Because I don't want them to do the Marvel mistake of, hey, let's make it so you have to watch everything. I will. Yeah. I know I will. But then I'm going to sit down at my palace at the movie theater and go, who's that? Wait, who's that person? Why are they here? So I do want them to have some of that peppered into movies, but I want more of this here in this kind of contained little pocket.
Yeah, and that's and I know people, I'm not going to, go into the James Gunn thing, but it does frustrate me a little bit that he says one thing, but does another. And, he basically made it seem as if, hey, you don't have to watch everything. You don't have to, it's not interconnected, but it's clear at the end of Peacemaker season 2 that is setting up Man of Tomorrow. And as you said, a possible, maybe not Peacemaker season 3, because he's saying they're not going to bring it back, but a version of another version of the show will be coming that will have a connective tissue to what we saw here at the end of the situation, or at the end of the season there. But yeah, I also thought the stuff with was Adebayo and what she was dealing with there throughout the whole season, and being Amanda Waller's daughter, and then her relationship. I think there could have been a bit more of that explored in the season. But that moment when those people jump out of their cars and they're chasing her, that is one of the most horrifying scenes of any TV show or movie of 2025. Like any, not superhero, not just superhero, any, because that is an utter fear that people live with every day in our country. And the fact that you had a moment where that literally came to life in the show was so stark and and you sat with it. You had to wait a week for the next episode, and you sat with that moment. I think was really brilliant, to be honest with you.
Oh, it was harrowing. Oof.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But and I thought Jennifer Holland really came into her own in this season as well. They gave her more to do. They focused on her more. I mean, let's throw away that stupid thing that people say, oh, because she's his wife, she gets preferential treatment. If she wasn't stepping up to the plate, I'd be on board with you, but she is. And so this season really proved how skillful she is as an actress, I thought, Chris.
100%. She brought it, not only in just her fight work, her emotional arcs this season too. Because Jennifer got jacked, right? She looks like somebody who can mess you up. I believe her as Holland.
She does.
But I also I believe her as Holland. I believe her as this character. I believe her as her person. But the just emotional journey that she went on in particular too was so well done and really nuanced. She could have done some stuff that was way over the top, I feel, with this character. She could have stayed in that brooding in a really weird, unpleasant way. And instead she had some really beautiful moments of just vulnerability and trying to, not let somebody into her life. And it was so well done.
And I thought it was a great challenge for her as an actress. Jennifer hadn't done a lot of stuff before she's been, kind of found her way into this DC universe. But the fact that she's been given more things to do and challenge as an actress, I think as an actor, I'm watching her grow and get stronger and stronger. And, people talk about the twin roles of 2025 with Sinners, the Michael B. Jordan and other people like Dylan O'Brien. Seeing her play two versions of the same character, I thought was a nice challenge for her as an actress to go next level. Can you make them distinctly different? And I thought that she did. I mean, the interrogation scene when she goes to try to save Peacemaker out of Earth X, when they're in that room and she can't fully give him her feelings, but you can tell where she's at and all of that. That was incredible compared to when they're having their moments out and they're having their dates with the Earth X version of her and the kind of lighter approach to her character, the happier approach, the more caring approach. That was a nice balance. So you got to see two different versions of this character from two different universes, and they were distinctly different. And I thought that was really well done by her as well.
Yeah. She delivered.
All right. She did. She 100% delivered. Any of these other films you want to talk, or shows like Daredevil Born Again season 1, or we were talking about Ironheart, but do you want to talk about Daredevil Born Again season 1? Anything to say on that? Go ahead. Yes, please.
Liked it.
Okay.
I really liked it. I thought it was well done. Does it have this kind of the shadow of the Netflix series over it? For me, absolutely. That is one of the best executed shows of all time, in my opinion, superhero or otherwise. But I think they did a really solid job. Where they lost me were the moments of unnecessary parkour CGI. I don't need that. You can just have him come jump down from something into a shot and I'll go, oh yeah, that's cool. Because I don't need to see him flipping around doing a whole bunch of stuff. I want to see him having fisticuffs and doing some detective work and doing legal work. That's what I really like about Daredevil. The balance of grappling with his guilt and everything, this new relationship. I think all of that was really well done. And I feel like that's a show that has set up its second season so beautifully. I didn't leave the show going, I can't believe I don't know more. It was, oh my gosh, I can't wait to learn more, which I think is a really great way for people to approach those season finales. Give me a cliffhanger, but don't make it so I'm unsatisfied with what's happened so far. How did you feel about it?
Yeah, I like the show for the most part. I think the middle sections of the show were a little not as strong as they could have been. Certainly the stuff with what's the character's name? The killer guy with the wearing the mask. I forget his name, but that guy, I think we should have had much more of a build up for his role in the series, so that when he's confronting Daredevil's girlfriend in that scene, it carries much more weight. And I wish it had a little bit more weight to that. And then later when we get the situation I thought the stuff with Kingpin was really well done throughout the whole series. Again, a commentary on our political world and who he's supposed to symbolize. Wherever you land on the political spectrum, you can find someone who you think has shades of Kingpin within them, who is running riot, in whatever they're doing. and ignoring the rules, ignoring the laws and stuff like that. And so I thought that was really well done. The stuff with his wife, completely. That is absolutely how messed up a relationship like that would be. The power dynamics and the dirtiness within the one person being transferred onto the other person. Because if you're with someone who you know is a criminal and you stay with them, that means there's an element of criminality within you as well. And I think that was something to explore that was really well done in the series. But for me, it's always Charlie Cox. And I think he's great as Daredevil and Matt Murdock. And that keeps me coming back to watch the scenes with him because he's such a damn good actor that even the episodes that weren't 100% on point, I enjoyed because he was, and then bringing in Bernthal, of course, who was fantastic. And bringing back Karen Page to have Deborah and Wool to have a more of a say in this season, leading us into the second season. So I think it did the job. It could have been better, but it was still a good show. And I think it did the job to set us up for a fun season 2 that I hope is going to kick ass for sure.
For sure. I'm glad you brought up Muse too, because he should have been used a bit more. Yeah, because that, if you guys want to read some messed up comics with a lot of eye violence, he is such a weird and frightening villain. It's very, very like Fincher-esque. He's terrifying.
Right. And again, these are the things like if you're going to adapt these stories, you got to go all the way. I know that you're trying to be 4-quadrant on the Disney side of things, but you've got to go all the way with some of these stories. Look at Andor. Andor went all the way and everyone is talking about it. So we're a much more adult society than people think. Kids are maturing at way younger ages than they did when we were growing up, Chris. And so it's like, they're used to this stuff. They're used to this stuff. So you've got to meet them at their level and stop thinking they're children, all the time.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything more should we say on this? Anything more you want to highlight? Any other series or anything else? Or shall we move on to some other news items?
I feel good.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. Let's talk about some other stuff.
We'll talk about other stuff. But right now we're at 32 super chats. Come on, people. Send in your love. We got 400 of you watching us right now. What are your thoughts? What are your favorite movies and TV shows of the superhero kind in 2025? Which ones did we miss that you want to talk about or you want to say? Send in your super chats. Get your thoughts out there. Get your love out there. Let's get to 100 super chats if we can today. We'd appreciate it. The day after Christmas. Send it in as we go along. All right. Let's get into this next story here. What do we want to talk about here? All right, fine. We'll talk about this one. A little Batman news here for Brave and the Bold. Let's bring this up here from, let's see, also comicbook.movie.com. But it's been a long road, but there finally appears to be movement on DC Studios' The Brave and the Bold. The film is meant to properly introduce Batman to James Gunn and Peter Safran's DCU following his cameo, I guess, in Creature Commandos. A promising aspect of the project is that it's meant to pair the Dark Knight and Robin in live action for the first time since 1997. Wow. The Boy Wonder expected to star as Damian Wayne, which is Bruce Wayne's biological son, if you read the comics. Brave and the Bold was part of DC Studios' initial slate announcement. It was later revealed, of course, that Flesh's Andy Muschietti has been tapped to direct, which I've been saying for a while is not going to happen, but we'll see coming out of the first season of It, Welcome to Derry, if that's changed. Following that, development seemed to slow down significantly. That paired with the swift announcements of new projects like Clayface, Man Tomorrow, the Jimmy Olsen series, led some to speculate perhaps the film had fallen by the wayside. That, however, does not seem to be the case. Apocalyptic Horseman from Nexus Point News gave a Q&A on X the other day, and when asked about updates on The Brave and the Bold, he revealed that pending a finished script, the movie is eyeing to start production in 2027. They hope to shoot The Brave and Bold in 2027, but that all comes down to them nailing the script down, and they've already switched writers, so we'll see. In another tweet, he added that the film would start shooting in 2027, quote, at the earliest, since it is still at the scripting stage. In another response, he stated production could easily be pushed to 2028, then clarified that the film getting another screenwriter was not a recent development. That bit is interesting since, speaking of Games Radar, James Gunn stated he was working closely with a writer. Quote, there's really no new updates. I mean, we're working on a script. We have a screenwriter who's hammering away at it. I'm very involved. And so, we'll see what happens next. I wish I had more news for you, but I don't. Assuming his claim is accurate, it's unclear whether the purported new writer is the one Gunn was talking about or if the script has changed hands. The Scooper also provided a tentative release window for the film based on what he's heard in response to a user speculating The Brave and the Bold could drop in the winter of 2028. The Scooper stated he believed it could release in December of 2028. I think December of 2028 is more likely, to be honest. So, Chris, your thoughts on this particular these comments from Apocalyptic Horseman. Do you buy this stuff, and your feelings about Brave and the Bold, or the potential Brave and the Bold at this point?
I just don't know if this movie's going to happen in this way. I really don't. Are we going to get a Batman teaming up with Superman eventually? Of course we are. This is something we've talked about quite a bit on the show. Is you got to have the big three where they're intrinsically tied to everything that is going to go forward with the DCU. So this needs to happen. Yeah, you have just so many things going against this movie. First of all, in my opinion, you have a really great Batman. We've got Pattinson right now.
Yes, we do.
Robert Pattinson is killing it in that very Seven-like universe. But if we are going to have a new Batman in, you have to make it distinctly different, probably for your average movie-going audience, so they don't get super confused about, wait, which one's Batman? Who's who? So many people really like Robert Pattinson in the role. It just, does that make sense for those worlds to come together, given the kind of shinier, more primary color world of our Superman, right? So then on top of that, do you actually want, quote unquote, a family man, Bruce? Because we love the Bat fam. We love how they come in here. I have some people say that doing this storyline is so that it's a more family friendly version of Batman. Do y'all know anything about Damian Wayne? That kid is a loose cannon.
Yeah.
He stabs his dad. He's out of control. That's a really interesting story. And I know we don't need to learn who Batman is again. You know, we don't need to see Martha's pearls go everywhere so we learn about his whole backstory. But I do think it's just a little rush to give him a kid. Yeah. You know, this is something we'll maybe get into with how the MCU is kind of going down that path now. But I feel like if you're establishing new characters, me meeting their estranged child immediately as I meet them doesn't really feel like I'm earning that tension in that relationship. I would maybe like a little bit more time with him before Damian is introduced. So then it's, okay, so now how does this change how Batman has to show up in the world and all this other stuff? Yeah. I just I'm like you. I'm not sure about Muschietti being involved. I don't have a lot of high hopes here.
Yeah, look, I appreciate what Apocalyptic Horseman was saying, but it's a lot of how can I say, general answers to stuff, and that can be moved around. So very nebulous, right? I think the script writer he was talking about is the same script writer Gunn was talking about. He was just saying that offhandedly they'd switched writers because he's referencing the history of the project, which Gunn said himself. So it was reiterating that point from Gunn. People just kind of assumed maybe another writer is in there. And maybe that's true, and maybe that's big news, but I don't think that is what was being referenced. That being said, the idea of it starting in 2027, possibly being out in 2028, there is no way you can put any tent poles in the ground right now on this situation with the battle that's going on with Paramount and Netflix for WB. There's just no way. This idea that you think you're going to get Brave and the Bold by 2028 just because James Gunn's contracts and Safran's contracts have been renewed or updated until 2027, it means nothing. If Netflix comes in and wants to change things around, and I'll show you the case in point, the creators of Avatar: The Last Airbender, who essentially moved out of their own property so that Netflix could take it over, they have no problem doing this. And there's a history of Netflix taking over IP and putting their fingers on it. Shall I show you Death Note? Like, they don't have any problem doing that. And it doesn't always lead to, exactly. It doesn't lead to the best results. So the fact that people are like, well, James will stay and Safran will stay, they can say anything they want right now. Once they take it over, it'll be a whole other ballgame. The same thing with the Ellisons. If Paramount ends up getting WB with these new bids they're trying and these new approaches they're trying, if you think they're not going to change things around to make certain points of views prevalent or certain storylines go in a certain direction, you're not really reading the tea leaves. And this is what I look at here. So I appreciate Apocalypse saying all the stuff that he's saying here, and I don't think he's off base in things that he's saying, but like, we really can't put any kind of stock in this stuff right now because so much is in flux with what they're trying to do. And I also think internally, removing all of that internally, Chris, I also think they're in flux, as you mentioned. What are we going to do with the quote Batman problem? Because people love Pattinson. Now we're doing a sequel that took 5 years to write. We've brought in Scarlett Johansson to be a huge part of this world. Where are we going with this? People loved Penguin season 2. Now you essentially have two competing, I don't care what anybody says, you have two competing universes currently happening with Penguin, the Batman, and now Man of Tomorrow happening. On this side, you just have Superman and Creature Commandos. Yes, we're going to get Supergirl. Yes, we're going to get Clayface. Yes, we're going to Man of Tomorrow. But like all these things are going to be established as competing universes now. By the time both of their sequels come out, Man of Tomorrow and the Batman Part 2. So the idea that you're going to do a Brave and the Bold, I think, is pie in the sky wishing right now. Because I agree with you. I don't know that a family Batman, even though Damian is a handful and a half, I don't know if that's necessarily the approach they want to go down. I think a more standard Batman and Robin would be more interesting to explore. But you have to establish your Batman first, don't you, Chris? Yes. I mean, to establish your Batman with the Robin right off the bat, I don't know that that's necessarily the smart move.
Yeah, I'm not super here for it. I think, and again, if it is, maybe if it is meeting Bruce and Dick and having, Nightwing starting to come into the fold, and maybe we meet them when it is that idea of you're shackling me, I'm in your shadow, I need to do this instead, as opposed to and leaving a familial relationship. That's when I think I could jump into a little bit more. Because that also is just kind of like, that's part of the cultural zeitgeist, right? We know Batman and Robin. Yeah. We understand that dynamic. Totally. The Damian Wayne one is a newer one for most people. And again, I think seeing Batman, seeing Bruce have to be a father to a young child, I don't know if that's the move right now. And I'm also so glad you brought up Clayface, because that's another genre kind of film of body horror, supposedly. How are we bridging the gaps between all of those? There's just so much going on.
I agree. I know he said that he liked to have everything to have its own tone, and I totally appreciate that. But you are going to have to combine these universes at some point. And you make an excellent point with the Clayface stuff. The Clayface, if you're going to make a body horror film, then you're going to have to. That's going to have the Batman elements to it. So, are you doing that so that you can open the door to move Pattinson in? The rumors that Colin Farrell was being looked at for Sergeant Rock. Like, that's a curious thing. You're plucking a guy from the Matt Reeves universe to put him in your universe, but as a different character. What's the logic in that? So there's just a lot of things that they're playing around with right now that doesn't seem as secure as we'd like it to be going forward with it. And, honestly, Chris, I don't know any IPs right now that are fully like streamlined and where they're going, because Star Wars is all over the place as well. Marvel, we should get into that. Maybe we should get into that now. Marvel is an interesting situation because there has been a trailer leaked. The Thor trailer is leaked online. We're not going to play it here, obviously, but the Thor trailer leaked online, and it focuses on his daughter from Love and Thunder. And you couple that with Captain America's trailer that was officially released where he's holding his son. And we don't know if that's Steve Rogers 616 Captain America or Steve Rogers from another universe. We don't know. But it seems clear to me, Chris, if you're looking at both of these kids in these two trailers, that Doom is going to be focusing on somehow either stealing the kids, acquiring the kids' powers. We have Wanda's kids that are in the mix as well. There's going to be a lot of, and then the Young Avengers have to at some point be formed as well. So do you like that this is possibly the direction they're going in, more of the dad and child approach, and Doom having lost his family, seeking revenge? I mean, we saw that with Baron Zemo, with Daniel Bruhl, what he was doing. So it's not a new motivation of a villain, even in the MCU. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think of this approach?
Yeah, we've seen Tony willing to burn everything down to avenge his parents.
Yeah,
against the Winter Soldier. So it is a story that we are all familiar with. It's just now we're going to see that with their own children. And I do kind of like the idea of a story that is focused in the sins of the father. I do like something that is focused in the idea of found family in addition to biological family, a story that is a lot about empathy potentially. I think there's some really cool, interesting things here. Yeah. I don't want it to get bogged down into feeling like the Avengers meets the Muppet Babies in a way. I don't want it to, but they're so young. The kids are so young. And so
I think Jared said it really well. Avengers and babysitting. Yes, there you go. Avengers and babysitting. I like that. Yes.
Yeah, I just don't want to get it into too much baby town frolic because I want to see my heroes go do their thing. And I love that they will have a very personal stake in wanting to like fight for their own children or have those relationships, and we can see how they work out. Because everyone who's had a kid pop up in the MCU so far too, it's very different circumstances.
Yeah.
You know, theoretically, that's Steve's biological child that he's had with Peggy. Love obviously is a found relationship. You know, Hulk having his son who is on this other planet, maybe.
I mean, possibly.
We'll
I don't know if they're
here.
gonna go back to that. Yeah.
It's a lot. And then of course Franklin being like the most important being in the universe. So I think there's a lot of cool potential here. I do have it on good authority that this leaked trailer is the actual trailer. I've got a source that was like, blink twice if that's real. And she was like blinking. So I've got on pretty good authority from somebody who said that this is, I think, trailer 2 of the ultimate 3 or 4 that are coming out. I think there's some cool stuff you could do here. I just also am a little concerned with the variance of it all, the multiverse of it all. I don't want this to become too overstuffed with too many different ideas.
I just wonder if the logic here is that, well, the people who watched us when they were teenagers are now dads and moms, starting in 2008. And so we need to bring those people back into watching Marvel stuff. So let's tell stories that might be connected to them becoming fathers and mothers. Possibly. But I do think this is kind of a soft rock approach to the MCU. And I don't know necessarily if that's the thing that's going to get us over the top. Because you know this, Chris, having read comics for years, you got to get the younger people in. Those are the people who are going to stay fans for longer. Older people always move in and out of comic books for the most part. Of course, there's always still the older people who stay adamant and stay up to date. But like most of the time, other things get in the way. Life, school, kids, jobs, they'll get in the way of collecting comic books. So you got to get them young. And the superhero movies, I think, work the same way. You got to appeal to the younger generation. Will you appeal to them focusing on the younger children, especially when you look at, and even if you go high, especially when you look at Young Avengers, like a lot of the people haven't necessarily taken to some of these characters you want to put in Young Avengers. So is that going to work? So there's a lot of questions. You bring up Franklin, but we didn't even mention in Agatha All Along that was focusing on Wanda's kid, right?
That's
so Tani and all that. So what's going to happen with her 2 kids? You've got Franklin Richards, as you mentioned. You've got Captain America's kid who's a baby now. You've got Thor's little girl who's coming into her own.
T'Challa's son.
And T'Challa's son, right. Oh my God, T'Challa's son. Hulkling, possibly, as you mentioned, if they even reference She-Hulk. So there's a lot to go through. And then you're throwing in Kate Bishop, and who's essentially Hawkeye's child without being Hawkeye's child. And then you've got Kamala Khan, who is, of course, we see her family. So how is all of this going to work? And to me, this is a lot of heavy lifting without a lot of foundation being laid throughout these previous movies or TV shows to lead us to this moment, because they're essentially changing the direction of this entire thing from where it was with Kang and the Council of the Kangs to Doom. And now we're focusing on Doom seeking revenge by possibly taking their kids or acquiring the power from the kids or turning their kids against them. And I don't know how many people are necessarily going to be on board with that.
Exactly. Well, what's so interesting is it's so wild to see them, like you were talking about. Let's appeal to these kind of like people who were, young and now have kids who have grown up with the MCU.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we'll have them be parents too. It's the exact opposite, or at least used to be in comic books. The only real reason why we had Gwen Stacy killed off is because she's too perfect for Peter. Yeah. And at this point, like if he doesn't marry her, he's the problem. And so it was, well, we can't have him marry her because he's a teenage superhero, or he's a collegiate superhero.
Yes.
That's going to ostracize our audience. Let's have this tragedy happen. Let's kill her off because we don't want to age our hero. And now with the movies, we're seeing the total opposite of like, let's age with you. Let's see how this works. As somebody who doesn't have kids, I also could take it or leave it. with this kind of storyline.
Yeah.
I think you can do some really beautiful storytelling, but also you can still have all these still wonderful ideas of, again, found family or your own familial relationships, like how Guardians has done it. Like Guardians 3 is one of the most heartbreaking films I have ever seen. It is beautifully done and is so well executed. None of those people are related, and sure, Drax has the very tragic storyline about his wife and daughter being gone, but I think you can do a lot without having to have everybody have had their own child at this point.
That's true. Because also, what is Vision Quest going to focus on? Is he going to, remember all the things of Vision before and become the dad? Like, is his energy going to go now to a daddy energy? Is that what we're looking at by the end of Vision Quest? So that's another element to throw in the mix. Right, Hawkeye's
he
children,
just does a bunch
Lila.
of ayahuasca in the desert. That's
right. Looking at the MCU kids, right? Hawkeye's children, Lila, Cooper, and Nathaniel. Wanda's twins, Billy and Tommy. Kamala Khan, right? Hulk's son is Scar. That's his name. T'Challa's son, as you mentioned, Toussaint. And we don't know what's going on with that overall. Let's see. Kate Bishop is America. America Chavez.
Chavez. Yeah.
Right. Cassie Lang, as I mentioned, Tony Stark's. Now, what is Tony Stark's? Now, is her daughter? Is his daughter Morgan? Miss I Love You 3000? Is she going to take on some of the outfits and follow in her dad's footsteps, and her mom, who became what she became in Endgame?
Rescue.
Right, rescue. So, is that going to be a part of this thing as well? And of course, Shuri is the younger sister of T'Challa. So. Yeah, this is fascinating. There's a lot of kids involved right now. And I just wonder if this is the direction they're going in, that if it's going to work, the family aspect of it all. It's universal, so it has a shot.
For sure. I'm trying to be cautiously optimistic. That's just usually my MO anyway. Just, it might be good. It could probably work. But yeah, there is just that little hesitation of, but that's a lot of kids.
Yeah, that's a lot of kids.
Children.
Mr. Indie Fanatic. So Doom is doing Vecna's plan from Stranger Things. Yeah, basically. Maybe.
Good tie-in, my friend. Yeah. John, I'm so excited for you to finish those episodes. I know.
I'm very ready to do it. Very ready to finish. Yeah. Second thing, before we move on to the questions, start sending your questions in, people. We're at 41. We'd love to get to 100. Come on, it's the day after Christmas. Send us some Christmas presents. Send in your super chats here as we go along. We're going to get to them in just a few minutes. One last part of this Doomsday thing I want to get to here, because we're already past the hour mark. Jeff Snyder on the Hot Mic, the show I co-host on my channel, the John Roca channel, ding, ding, ding. He talked about, according to his sources, and Jeff usually has some pretty good sources. He's not always right, but he does have some pretty good sources. He's hearing that the next two trailers, as you mentioned, your friend, or you've heard that there's 3 or 4 of these trailers, Doom is not going to be the focus of any of the next 2 trailers. From what he hears, the next trailer will be focused on Fox's X-Men, coming in and reintroducing them and their elements of Doomsday. And then the trailer after that is going to be Fantastic Four and the Wakanda Warriors. So do you buy any of this? Does this make sense to you? Is this there maybe, okay, we established the babies. Now we're going to focus on the teams aspect of Doomsday. What are your thoughts on these possibilities?
Oh, I like them. I like them a lot. Yeah. I wonder if it is breaking up the pattern of, like, are we going to see a whole bunch of different, like, here's your kid? But then if the next one is the X-Men, though, again, another great example of found family. And so then we have, these are the heroes where you last saw them and how they're going to be entering over here. Because it's been a minute since we've played with most of the, Fox friends. Some of them popped up in Deadpool, obviously. Hugh has been popping around. But I think it'll be really interesting to have that tie-in moment of, like, are we getting a little X-Men 97 in this where, like, Cyclops, and since Famke's in this as well, right? Are we getting Cyclops and Jean having, like, more of that kind of relationship, like from that cartoon or from the comics a bit more? Because again, their superpowered children are very, very big and a little OP'd in my opinion. But, there's another group of gifted youngsters in potential for children. So that I could see definitely happening. And then obviously bringing in, Black Panther and looking at how Wakanda's been affected and everything too, that's such a beloved pocket of the universe too. I feel like so many people love the Black Panther series, and I do want to know what's going on with that, because last we left, it was meeting Tucson. It was Shuri still not knowing if this is the mantle she's going to keep or anything. I'm still grappling with that, and losing her mother. Oh my gosh, that poor girl. She's gone through so much. So it is. I genuinely want to know what's happening in Wakanda right now. Like, I really want to know how like that place is and if they're all okay. So I think that'd be a smart series of trailers. Where are you at with them?
Yeah, I like the idea of the Fox X-Men one because, some of the younger people haven't maybe seen those movies. So you got to reintroduce these characters in some way. So that would make sense to me. And I don't have as much of an obsession for the Fox X-Men as some other people do. I love Wolverine. Sure. I love Professor X for sure. And I love Famke. So it's still up in the air whether she's coming back or not. So I hope she does. I need her to be back. But I wasn't the biggest fan of Halle Berry as Storm, even though I think she's a good actress. And some of these story elements they did, I wasn't always 100% on board. But in the end, I think it's smart to reintroduce them back and get everybody hyped to see this. Because if maybe the baby thing isn't your thing, seeing the Fox X-Men back, that could get you excited. Then you bring in Fantastic Four, which didn't do that well in the theaters, and then had some really had the lowest numbers of any series or any film that's debuted on Disney Plus from the Marvel side of things in a while. So you want to get people back hyped up, connecting them with Wakanda, having them going 1-2 with Wakanda subconsciously. I think makes the audience get a little more excited to see what we're going to get. And look, these Avengers films at times have redeemed people's ill feelings about a character. I think a lot of people cheered when Captain Marvel showed up in Endgame to handle the business on the ship and go toe-to-toe with Thanos. That was an awesome moment. So for me, I think that's the possibility for Fantastic Four to be redeemed in this situation here attached with. So I'd like to see it. I don't know if it's going to happen. It might be Doom, but I think there's a reason these two haven't leaked, but the Captain America and Thor ones have been leaking from the beginning. So this makes me think these are much more newer ones that they're being much more on top of and want to surprise people more with. So I could see that being the possibility as well.
Oh yeah.
So you're more,
like that.
You're more cautiously optimistic, right? That's where you're at right now.
Yeah. Overall. Also, chat, thank you very much, because I should have phrased that as if Famke is in there too. Or she's back, right? No, I'm not right. But I don't believe anyone. I don't believe anyone that they're not in this movie. Everyone in their
That's so true.
In this.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Evans spent 2 years telling us he wasn't in Avengers Doomsday, and he popped up in the first effing trailer. So yeah, exactly. So we'll see. We got a lot to so definitely to go over. Oh, yeah, that's another child, Monica Rambeau and Maria Rambeau. That's also an element of this as well. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of the parent-child stuff that it seems to be a part of Doomsday and Secret Wars as well. All right, well, we're at the mark now. We need to get into some questions, but before we do so, we got to play some ads here for everybody to keep the lights on here on the Kristian Harloff channel. So as we're doing that, please remember to send in your super chats about this. What do you think about the Avengers Doomsday stuff? Do you buy these trailers possibly focusing on the team's aspect of it all? What do you think of the Batman stuff, Brave and the Bold? Or what do you think about all the other things that we talked about here leading into this break? Let us know down in the comments section and send in your super chats. We'll be right back right after this.
This is one that every time I talk about it, people are like, I've never signed up to something so fast. Because if you ever have that last pair of contacts panic? I know so many people that tell me about it all of the time. Now think about it, when you are completely out and stuck wearing the big bulky glasses, you don't have to worry about it, because your next set is always on the way from 1-800-CONTACTS. They are the only major contact lens retailer that will let you renew your prescription online so you can get your contacts fast. 1-800-CONTACTS has fast, free shipping, and it delivers the same contacts that your doctor prescribes, and it goes right to your door, all without ever leaving home. For over 30 years, 1-800-CONTACTS, it's been the leader in online contact lens delivery with millions of contacts in stock and award-winning customer service. Here's what sets them apart from everyone else. They offer fast, free shipping on every order, and they have over 100 million contact lenses in stock, ready to ship from their distribution centers across the country. They provide a way to renew your contact lens prescription from home with their online vision exam, Express Exam. It takes less than 10 minutes, and it gives you a doctor-issued prescription that you can use to buy contact lenses. No other major retailer makes prescription renewal this easy. They have extra discounts for new customers on their site. 24/7 customer support is there if you ever need help, day or night. 1-800-CONTACTS really could genuinely make life easier if you wear contacts. So I know that vision issues are always annoying. It really could take a lot of the hassle away. Getting contacts doesn't have to be a hassle. Let 1-800-CONTACTS get you the contact lenses you need right now. You order online at 1-800-CONTACTS.com or download the free 1-800-CONTACTS app today. All right, so Nutrafol. It's been a long time since we've been with them, and I love them. And the greatest part about it, honestly, even though Brett and I started talking about this years ago, was about 5 months ago when Roxy was like, I've been using Nutrafol forever. I love it. And she's been using it for like the last year. She's improved hair growth. We've noticed hair growth, less shedding. It's really awesome. So for you guys, listen, the holidays, it gets busy. It gets overwhelming. And thoughtful gifts that encourage slowing down, prioritizing self-care, they always stand out. Nutrafol will give the gift of stronger and faster growing hair. Any ideal gift for anyone who deserves a boost of confidence and science-backed support heading into the new year. I know that right now you're still scrambling. You're still scrambling for a gift. I got it for you. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand trusted by over 1.5 million people. You will see thicker, you will see stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months. This holiday season, Nutrafol is the perfect gift for anyone on your list. Whether it's your mom, your aunt going through menopause, a friend who just had a baby is experiencing postpartum hair shedding, your husband or father who relies on a baseball hat to cover it up, yourself or anyone else looking to support their overall hair health. Give the gift of confidence this holiday season with Nutrafol. Whether you're treating yourself or someone on your list, visibly healthier, thicker hair is the gift that keeps on giving. Right now, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription plus free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com. Use the promo code Kristian. Nutrafol.com, promo code Kristian. Get $10 off.
Hey, all right, there you go. Nutrafol. Make sure you try all of that out there to support people here on the Kristian Harloff channel and Final Contacts. Hey, listen, as a guy who uses glasses, contacts are essential to my life. So please use this stuff. Use the code. Let people know that you want to keep. You want them to keep supporting the Kristian Harloff channel. Let's bring Chris back in here. So Chris, let's get into some questions. Are you ready?
All right, let's do it.
We got 45 of these. Keep them coming, folks. Yeah. Let's get to 100 before the end of the show if we can. Derek Johnson sending a bunch of support to start us off here. Thank you, Derek.
Thanks,
quite
Derek.
a lot here from the beginning. And if I missed any, Derek, please let me know if I missed any from you. But thank you so much, DJ. You're amazing. You're the best.
What a legend.
He is. Now, Vigorous Soldier says support 2 favorite hosts of many from the channel. Oh,
thank you.
It's very kind. Derek back again says, agree. These are 2 of my favorite hosts. Oh, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Very kind. And Derek with more. Wow. So majorities are Derek. Thank you, Derek. Ray coming in as well. Ray Dominguez. Thank you, awesome. Ray, with the best cheeks in the business there. More support. Will Watson became a YouTube member. Thank you, Will. Appreciate you becoming a YouTube member for Kristian Harloff channel. And here we go. Tim L. Sim says, wonder if you all agree. 2025 is the culmination of all the MCU stumbling after Endgame, with all 3 MCU movies flopping despite Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four First Steps being great MCU entries. Story-wise, hope everyone had a great Christmas. All right, what do you think, Chris? Is it the culmination of all the MCU stumbling after Endgame? Like, basically the chicken's coming home to roost, and that's why these films didn't do as well, even though they're pretty good films according to a lot of the critics.
I think that could potentially be it. It's also, how do you follow something up that is that epic and that feels that finite, right? It feels like a beautiful end with a few little wisps off of where you can take the story from there, right? Again, it was a beautiful conclusion that left you wanting a little bit more, but didn't feel unsatisfying because there weren't like huge mysteries left unsolved. Aside from like, why is there a celestial in the ocean and things like that? So I can agree with this. I think a lot of it, though, honestly, is just our own expectations. I think Marvel had such an incredible run and did this incredible duo of films that, left audiences just so energetic and screaming in theaters. And how do you follow something like that up? So I can see it is as a stumble, but I don't feel like for the most part it's for Marvel's lack of trying, aside from what we already talked about earlier on the show of those moments of, hey, let's re-edit this, let's try to make this more crowd pleasing. I think they didn't allow themselves the time to fail, honestly. It's that idea of like, well, let's correct this, let's course correct immediately. And I don't think that's what you do a lot of times with film. I think you go, oh, okay, let's still again tell the story that we wanted to tell, see how audiences relate to this, instead of scrambling and doing these last minute reshoots, these last minute cuts, changing stories last minute. Tell the story that you intended to, then we can move on in the next phase, as opposed to having this weird reactionary thing. That's the biggest stumble, I feel.
Yeah, Chris, I think you make excellent points here. It's to me, it's like sports. There's always those magical seasons. And sometimes a team starts off really like stumbles a little bit because people have like nostalgia glasses about phase one. It wasn't like all hits and hits and hits.
Yeah.
There were some stumbles. The first Thor film wasn't that well received. Some people had issues with the third act of Captain America: First Avenger. So the Hulk film is still part of the MCU, as was verified in a couple of projects recently, Captain America: Brave New World. So those are all elements of like, well, it was a little bit of a tough start. The team was still finding itself. They were still figuring how to play with each other. And then we get into phase 2 and 3. And by the end, they've won the Super Bowl, or they've won the World Series, or the champ. And then you've got to retool. And so they made some changes. They made some adjustments because it's tough to follow up and be a consistent winning team. It is tough. Dynasties are rare for that reason, because it is tough to put a consistently championship winning team on the field or on the court. And I think that's what you deal with Marvel here. We became spoiled, and they are the victims of their own success. We thought because they led to this amazing ending over these 30 some movies that led us to Endgame, that they were just going to keep humming along. But the truth is, some of the directions that they went in weren't necessarily the strongest. Also, the public's tastes changed. The political aspect of the public has changed. The creators they brought in might not have been at the same level of, say, an up-and-coming Ryan Coogler or the Russo's brothers coming out of Community and what they did. So there's just a different element in what you're looking at here. Jon Favreau, great start, good director. There's not necessarily the same things. And then you have the feeling like, well, we've got all these people to please. We're no longer the rebels. We are now the establishment. So now we've got to be more careful. And that doesn't lead necessarily to cutting edge artistic stuff. It lets you be safe. And when you're playing it safe, people become unsatisfied because you're not one side or the other. And I think that's an element of what happened here, because I think the ideas are all great across the board in all of these projects. And there are some good scenes and good things that are accomplished with those ideas. But overall, the product hasn't been as strong. And there are a number of reasons, as Chris pointed out, and I've just pointed out, I think, and some of you probably have other reasons as well for why it hasn't quite hit. And it's not as simple as go woke, go broke, or any of that nonsense. It's more a matter of like, it's all about how they put it together, and a bit of fatigue from their own abilities of being as successful as they were. All right, Julius Wyatt's 8895 says, Thunderbolts is my favorite comic book movie this year. Yelena is my favorite new character post Endgame. Also, I can't wait for Marty Supreme tonight. Yeah. Yelena is the best. I think she is the best character, right? Since Endgame. Would you say that that's number one?
It oscillates between her and Red Guardian for me, because he's just he's so goofy, but then also so heartbreaking and fun. But Yelena probably just inches over just a little bit. She's incredible.
Yeah, I just recently I always watch the Hawkeye series for Christmas now, and I tell you, I love that series. And Yelena and Kate Bishop, for God's sakes, how are we not writing more scenes with them into all the movies? I hope they have a reunion in Doomsday or Endgame where they have some fun back and forth together, because those two are just amazing. And Kate should be leading the Young Avengers if you're going to go down that route, in my opinion. And you can have Yelena occasionally popping in, even though she's part of the quote unquote new Avengers. So, yeah.
So her over Ms. Marvel?
Yeah, I would do that. I would do myself personally.
Okay.
I just think, I mean, it's Haley Steinfeld. I just think there's more you can play with there. But I think Ms. Marvel, a great second in command for sure, or co-lead, totally fine with that. But I think it should be Kate, in my opinion. And enjoy Martyr Supreme, Julius. I know I did. It was one of my favorite films. JC33, even though it started in December of 24, Creature Commandos needs some love for 2025.
Oh, yeah, I didn't consider it for this because it was 2024.
Yeah. It's a good show. Absolutely.
I really like it.
Stick the landing, but I liked it.
Yeah. It was fun. I did not expect to be that invested in Weasel. Oh my gosh. Yes. James Gunn, you son of a bitch. But yeah, the ending of it did make me go, why did I like this? And also I'm still confused about that Ric Flair to this Ric Flair. Or not Ric Flair. Oh my gosh. I always do this. I always do it. I've got wrestling on my brain. Ric Flag. This Ric Flag to that Ric Flag. Oh my God. Y'all, I need to have a coffee before I start this show. Oh, mess. But yeah. Ric
Jet
Flag.
flying, sleeping with princesses. Woo! Ric Flag. Yes.
Perfect.
Learn to love it. Confessor T says, favorite movie, Sinners. Favorite TV show, Stranger Things. Yeah, nice.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. I'm mad at The Ringer. The Ringer put Sinners tied with Dracula for their 10th best film of the year. I was like, get out of here, you clowns. What? Get out of here. Sinners is top 10. Masters of McCall, thoughts on Jingle All the Way? Laughed so hard I cried tears. So bad. Glad my family didn't pick Polar Express. I'd hate to go to prison on Christmas.
Polar Express freaks me out, man. It's so uncanny.
Yeah.
Jingle All the Way is hilarious. It's so fun.
Arnold
never Schwarzenegger just trying to get a toy. Oh my God.
I need to see that. It's one of the rare Schwarzenegger films I've never seen. I need to see, maybe do a reaction on my channel. Although I should have done during Christmas. Maybe I should get it done the next
Plans for next year. You're already
next year.
Banking for 2026.
always the next year. CC Black 1987. Superman was not better than Thunderbolts. Audience and critics scores proves that. Thunderbolts is a top 10 MCU movie to me. You can argue Fantastic Four versus Superman. Well, I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, as am I. And I just think I think Superman was a better constructed film than Thunderbolts. I think Thunderbolts didn't go deep enough into the mental health stuff. And I would have liked much more of that. As someone who's explored it and lived it and studied it, like, to me, I think there was a lot more emotionally rich material to explore on the mental health side of things. And so just personally for me, that's why I feel that way, Superman versus Thunderbolts. But no offense to you loving it more than Superman. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that, Chris?
Absolutely agree. Yeah. It's this is all subjective, but I completely can understand why you feel that way. I just always like to kind of caution people. Sure, like these scores are all tallied up, but that's the averages of how we all feel about things.
Right.
So also in those high numbers, you still get some people who think, well, this is a little bit of a turd, or this is really the most incredible cinema I've seen.
Yeah.
So you take it all with a grain of salt.
It's true. Confessor T, 2026 is going to be a cinematic banquet for us. Yeah, there's so much coming.
There's so much coming out. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. It's going to be a good year.
Spider-Man, Doomsday, Odyssey. There's so much happening, man. Oof. But no Wicked. No more Wickeds, unfortunately.
No more
Red Carpet Talk. 100 Nights of Hero is an underrated graphic novel movie adaptation from 2025. It's a fantasy movie about the need for a female point of view in storytelling. I've never heard of this. Have you heard of this?
Searching this right now. Oh, okay. I've seen a trailer for this.
Okay.
So it's got that Nicholas Galsantine, is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
The guy who's going to be He-Man.
Yes.
He's in it.
Oh.
The trailers look wild. Yeah, Felicity Jones, Richard E. Grant, Charlie XCX, Emma Corrin, Nicholas Galsantine, like I mentioned already. It looks really interesting.
Yeah, I like Micah Monroe.
I didn't know that was an adaptation. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have no idea about this, and I should probably take a look at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let us know. Should we read the graphic novel first and then watch the movie, or should we just dive into the movie?
Good question. Let us know. Matt Sinister Roca, have you watched Bring Her Back, top 5 of 2025? No, that's the brothers from the Philippou brothers, right? I think that's the Bring Her Back one. It's on HBO Max. I have not watched it yet. There will be a lot of movie watching over the next 7 to 8 days in my life. So I will be catching up on a lot of these 2025 movies that I missed. Not the big ones that get nominated for awards, but some of the other ones that I've missed for sure. Lawrence Arnoli, what's up, Lawrence? Good to see you. We get the Avengers Babysitting Club and X-Men Senior Citizen Retirement.
Listen,
Wow.
Alan Cummings is still spry. He'll be okay. Popping around his Nightcrawler. He'll be fine.
He said he had a good experience.
Yeah.
That's it. Sidekicks like Robin are dumb. If I'm wrong, why?
Oh.
Well, I don't think they're dumb because they allow you to see other levels to the characters that you are cheering for. Like Batman with Robin is a completely different Batman than Batman solo. He has to take other things in consideration. And it's interesting to see what he does when he has to factor Robin into a situation, any Robin that he has, because they've all been distinctly different. And it gives you a more fleshed out Batman. It helps your Batman to become even more fleshed out, give him more levels, more nuance. It's fascinating to watch if it's done well. And so I think, quote unquote, sidekicks are important to show you other aspects of the main character that you might not be able to show in other ways. What are your thoughts on that?
100. Oh my gosh. So sidekick is just another word for mentee, partner,
Sure.
father-daughter figure, etc., or father-son figure relationships, those kinds of things. So, and also almost every story has that in some way, right? Someone who is being taught or fostered by somebody else. And I think the term sidekick and the idea of like these people in spandex teaming up together can sometimes feel silly. But it really is the heart of most storytelling, is that kind of relationship between somebody who is more learned or powerful than somebody else and trying to guide them on their own journey. So I love those sidekick stories personally. And I really like, again, like Robin becoming Nightwing. I think that's such a great journey too of what happens when you are tired of being the sidekick and you want to step out on your own and do your own thing. So for me, I like them.
Yeah, and they served, like when you have a character that is just solo, that person just thinks about whatever's in front of them, what their needs are, right? Or what the needs of, say, Gotham is, if you're using Batman. What a sidekick does is kind of break their patterns of thinking about themselves and give them new perspectives to consider if sidekicks are written really well. And that's the whole point of them, is to give new perspectives to the situation that this person who's been used to operating solo maybe hasn't considered. And that's important too. Clark Bryant, 8222 says, Batman's popularity dominates attention, crowding out Superman. Fans push Batman instead of focusing on current and developing projects in the DCU. Well, yes, but also because that's the truth. Superman has not been as consistently good as Batman has in its multiple iterations throughout our exposure to them on the screen. In the comics, I would argue the same thing is true. I think there are more great Batman storylines than there are Superman storylines. And it's just because there's more complexity to explore in Batman than there is necessarily in Superman. But that's just I think that's just an element of this. What do you think, Chris?
I think so too. And Batman comes with such a good rogues gallery.
Yeah.
I always stand by Batman works best, in my opinion, when he is the antagonist. I love when a story is told from Batman's villains' perspectives and they're the protagonist in the story and he's who's getting in the way of everything. He's the obstacle. And I feel like sometimes Superman's villains, although we have, good ones, Darkseid, Brainiac, when we start getting into like gangs and everything too, there's some really cool stuff there with intergang, I mean. But yeah, Batman, I think, just has such a huge catalog that you really can't go wrong. There is absolutely a Batman story for every type of reader. Whereas Superman, I feel like we tend to stay in the same kind of playground.
Also, most of his villains, aside from Lex, are outer space villains, right? Like Darkseid, Brainiac. Those are not necessarily grounded and almost all Batman's villains are grounded in his current reality, and I think that helps as well. Jarrett, back again, says, we know in the comics, Franklin Richards has the power to age himself up. Do you think they will do that for the movies, maybe for Secret Wars?
Oh, like when isn't his character called Avatar then? That's going to get confusing. We can't have 3 Avatar things out. I don't, how would your average moviegoer feel about bloop, bloop? I just aged myself up. Because the comparison I always make is I don't want anyone to be Lion-O from Thundercats.
Oh God. Yeah, right. Good call. Yeah.
And so I just don't know how I'd feel about it. It's cool he has this power. And also I like the idea that we don't have to have them stay like toddlers and they can become actual heroes. Yeah. I just don't know if I feel like that works better in a comic than in a movie.
Yeah. I also think if you're going to introduce Franklin and give him all the power, because we only saw one element of his power at the end of Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
You don't want to overwhelm the audience with all the things he can do, because if he can just do whatever to get out of every situation, you're going to remove the conflict. So he's got to still be coming into his powers and figuring out what his powers are. So maybe they'll use that power, but then another power is going to be sacrificed. So they've got to be real careful about what powers they focus on with the newer characters that are coming into the MCU in these two movies. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see though. CC Black, Roca, think it's more about comforting or protecting your child while worlds are coming to an end due to incursions. We get Cyclops with baby Cable. Oh man, that's I mean, I maybe, I guess, but I also think they're just coming in to be killed. They're coming in for us to enjoy nostalgia and have fun, and then Doom's going to wipe them all out. I just feel like that's what's going to happen. Not Wolverine, but everyone else I think is on the table.
Yeah. We don't get to have a happy James Marsden Cyclops. That's not allowed. He doesn't get that. But seeing him lose Cable though, because that's so heartbreaking.
Right.
And Marsden's such a good actor. Like giving him that moment on screen would be really like delicious and awful at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. It's now you're getting into most moviegoers don't know Cable. Only the comic book lovers really know Cable. So I think you might be stretching the. I don't know. Like I don't know if you have enough time to establish that relationship to then have it taken away to have the emotional effect that you're looking for. But we'll see. Jared back again says, I would love to see Dan Stevens reprise his role as Legion for Secret Wars.
That'd be cool.
Bro, you and me both, bro. I think 10 people would get it, but the 10 of us that got it would love it.
We'd lose our minds.
We would. And it would work because he is Professor X's child. So it could have that as well. I don't know. We'll see.
I'd be into it.
Ray Dominguez says, again, more support. Thank you, Ray.
Thanks.
Yoshimitsu, 5537. Yoshimitsu, I hope I'm saying that right. Can't stay today. Want to say you're both awesome. Oh, thank you.
You're awesome.
Thank you. Dr. Zeus, 702 says, sending love for Chris, a wonderful person with a positive personality that always brightens my day when I'm listening/watching. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's so nice.
Yeah. Dancing Dog 60 says, I want to see Wakanda and Talokan face Doom.
Ooh.
Yeah. I agree with that. I
like that a lot. Because also, what the heck is going on with either of those places? I need to know.
That's a good point. Yeah. Massive, worst job you've had and why Collider doesn't count. Collider was not a bad job. What the fuck? Collider was not. I would not be doing what I'm doing now if it wasn't for Collider. Were there a couple of assholes at the job? Yes, but it wasn't the worst job because I met so many great people who I am still friends with and still hang out with. And I think we had a hell of a fucking murderer's row of talent when I was there of people doing this stuff. The great Schnepp, Christian Ellis, Roxy, there was Makuga, Ken Knapsack. There were so many great people. So that was not my worst job. I think the job I had before that job is my worst job, which was a DVD testing job. Holy crapola. Sitting all day and watching the same movie over and over and over again in different languages and watching for different subtitles. And you're just watching it over and over. I watched Norbit 157 times for my job. And it was so sucking.
No one's watched it that much.
No one. Not even Eddie has watched it that much. Not even the editors watched it that much. It was just like, so yeah, that was the worst job probably I've ever had. Even though it kept me alive in LA, it was a horrible, horrible job. Yeah. What about you, Chris?
I mean, all of my jobs for the most part have been pretty good and cushy. I'm going to be so honest. And there have been aspects of them where I'm like, oh, this is terrible. Like I had a producer who would like rewrite my scripts. And also like would not tell me when they were supposed to be opinion based. Or like I would just get saddled with more work than other people because of like stuff they were doing. But yeah, for the most part, the worst job I've genuinely ever had was I was on set for a commercial that I ended up getting cut from. And they spent like when I did my fitting, the costume gals spent like 30 minutes talking about how fat I was. And I was just like, I'm right here and you have my size card. So I don't know what's happening. And my agent was furious. And so she got most of them removed. But then they still put me in something that was just a size too small. It was a designer dress. It was beautiful. But I had to do this big like inhale, exhale. And on like the third time I did it, I burst the seams of the dress and I had a sweater over me, but I was just like, hey, the dress is broken. The dress is broken. So you know. And was just like trying to not cry on set. And everyone was so mean where I was like, I gave you my actual measurements. Please. You hired me and you saw that this is what I look like. Just like I was in the room. This was before we did self-tapes too. Where I was like, I physically shook all y'all's hands. You all know exactly how big this girl is. Okay. So be nicer. That was my worst one where I was just like, man, mean girls on set.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Y'all who don't struggle with weight issues, you have no idea how embarrassing moments like that are and how debilitating they are, really. Because a lot of us who struggle with weight issues, we have like, self-esteem issues surrounded around that. And when moments like that happen and people are that cruel about it, it's like you just don't understand like how terrible that is, And
it was crazy. Yeah. Oh, and I was a baby actor too, so I was just like, I guess this is how people treat you. No, it's not.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
no,
I've been on those sets.
Yeah,
been on those sets. Oof. Dr. Zoo 702 says, Roka, I listen to you nearly every day of my week. Oh, that's very kind of you. Sometimes I'm yelling back at the pod. Good, but I am always appreciative of your shows and all the hard work you put into it. Thank you for 2025. Yeah, I am not. I am not the Brady Bunch. That's for sure. So make an old reference. But I appreciate you guys still listening and watching, even though you may not always agree with the stuff I say, which is nice of you. Seattle Chaos is support for Roka and Chris. Merry Christmas. Who was your favorite performance of the year, TV or film?
Ooh, I've got two weird ones.
Go ahead, please.
I mean, the first one is Jessie Buckley in Hamnet because,
of course,
wild, so incredible. Yeah. But then Liam Neeson in Naked Gun.
Great choice.
It was so fun. It was so fun. What about you?
Great choice. Well, I mean, I have to echo your Jessie. As a Shakespeare guy, and also a lover of Jessie Buckley since Taboo, the series of Tom Hardy, I've been waiting for her to finally get that massive role that gets her the awards so that people can realize how great she is. So yes, I'm so happy. That's my favorite performance of the year. But I would say Chalamet and Marty Supreme. I'm just like, I'm blown away. He is baby DiCaprio and he's going to replace DiCaprio. And he may eclipse DiCaprio down the road. Like he may win more Oscars than DiCaprio before it's all over. And we will see. Yeah. He has said he has modeled his career after that guy. And it shows. I don't think we'll ever see him in a superhero movie. He is going to make serious or fun, interesting films for the rest of his life. And yeah, it's my favorite performance of the year for sure. Dancing Dog 60. Do you think that social media or negative YouTube channels actually have an effect on box office for the general public? Do normies really care?
Yes and no, maybe.
I only think it matters if it's a movie that's not good. Or a movie that's not great. Like they came for X-Men 97 and all of them shut the F up when that show came out because it was amazing and nobody could deny it. Right. And so what it does is it makes it harder, I think. Yeah.
I think every now and then, and this is also just coming from my own bubble here, is sometimes things just get in the way of, the David Harbour scandal, supposedly, right? Millie Bobby Brown thing, but then also his marriage, where I had some people do like, but are we watching his stuff right now, or is he canceled? Which one I hate is he canceled? Because it takes away people's accountability. I think we need to have accountability culture, not cancel culture.
I agree.
And that also was this other thing with Millie Bobby Brown, like that was several years ago, and this is not a problem anymore, and they are very close, and they've worked out these issues. And the marriage stuff, I'm not in that marriage, so it has nothing to do with me. But I'll have friends do that, though, of like, I don't think we're watching Stranger Things because he just gives us the ick now. And I'm like, all right, well, then don't watch Stranger Things, I guess. You're missing out on a good show. There are plenty of other people in this world who give me the ick. If they do a good project and I don't have an issue with supporting their work because they've done egregious things, I think we all can calm down a little bit. That's the only time that I see like the social media stuff where I have to at least do a little course correction of, oh, hey, did you read that full article? Did you click on that? And did you see what actually happened? Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, I think it's a great point you bring up, Chris, of course. Separating the art from the artist, and you're allowed to like or not like whatever you want. And so using someone's marriage who none of us were witness to. We have no idea who's telling the truth. And you look at the Nicole Kim and Keith Urban thing. It's about who's got the stronger PR team. Right?
Yeah.
In my belief, Travis Kelce and Taylor are going to break up. They're not going to make it to the wedding. I'm telling you right now. And it's going to be who's got the better PR team to push the narrative out there. That's more.
But it's a love story, baby. Just say yes.
Is it?
I'm just using her lyrics.
Do it. I'm telling you. We'll see. The man's got to be. She ain't going to hang on to no anchor. He's got to get successful, or she's going to move on. I'm telling you, that woman. She's very powerful. The Eggman, the G-Man. Sorry, 8119 says, "Hey Chris, hi Roka. Heard about you. Oh, hi Chris. Roka, heard about you for years, and nice to finally join you. Oh, thank you. Thanks for coming in." Having seen Superman, F4, and Thunderbolts, I say Superman is number 1 for 2025. There you go. Yeah. Thank you. He also comes back, G-Man. Weasel, Gun, you lovable SOB. There you go. Echoing your love for Weasel as well.
I love him so much.
Karen Vonderman. I'd say, hey, Karen, Crypto is my favorite superhero character of this year.
Love it. Yes.
Love it. Dancing Dog, who will be on Sam's Avengers team? Well, I think Screen Rant did a thing on that. If I can find it, I think Shang-Chi is on his Avengers team.
That makes sense. I've missed him. Okay. I love Shang-Chi. Let's get him back in there.
Where is it? No, maybe. I don't. Disney reveals. Here we go. Threads. Disney reveals. Captain here. Screen Rant. Let me read it real quick. Yeah, Captain America's team. That's Sam Wilson's team. Is rumored to include Sam Wilson, obviously, Thor, Loki, Shang-Chi, Falcon, and Ant-Man. And immediately people are like, where's the women? Which is a fair complaint. But this is an interesting crew to bring together. Sam, how are Thor and Loki? If this is true, how are Thor? Isn't Loki more powerful than Thor? So how's that dynamic going to be?
He's the god of stories now, too. So how does he?
Yeah.
Does he take a break?
Falcon makes
Falcon.
Sense. Yeah. And Ant-Man. It's a good team. I don't think it's a great team, but it's a good team.
Yeah.
We'll see. Going to see Dr. Zeus 702. Going to see Anaconda tonight with my friends. Fingers crossed for some good laughs.
Oh, I've heard great things. I'm really excited. We're going to go watch it this weekend.
It's 90 minutes, so you'll be in and out. It's not a long movie, so not a bad one to go and enjoy and have some fun. Eric Kirby, Mr. Roka, have you seen Star 80 with Eric Roberts? We're not getting into that. I recently rewatched it. Still very disturbing even today. I don't think today's audiences could handle a film like that today. Yeah, I remember Star 80. It's a true story of what happened to, I think it's Dorothy Stratton was the Playboy model's name, and Eric Roberts was the obsessed boyfriend, and what happens when she becomes successful and he gets jealous. It's a pretty brutal film from back then. I can't remember the actress who played her too in the movie, but yeah, I do remember that one, of course.
Dang.
Eclipse 77 says, who do you think went the furthest, did the best in tackling mental health, Thunderbolts or Avatar 3? Oh, Thunderbolts by a million miles, in my opinion. But your thoughts on this, Chris?
I haven't seen Avatar 3 yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to be so honest. I'm not like rushing to the theater to see it. Because the second movie, like the more I watch it, the more I go, I don't know if I even like this. I think I just think it's pretty.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go see it. My husband's obsessed with these movies, as so many people are. So I had no idea they were even going to get into mental health. Let's go. Let's see.
A lot of repetitive beats from the second installment, so you might find yourself feeling the same way by the end. But you might like it. We'll see.
My friend's review was that she could have flown to New York instead. She was like, I could have been on a plane in the time this took, and I was like, wow, that's a hell of a review.
I mean, it's 3 hours and 14 minutes. That's no joke. Carlton Road says, London calling. Super busy, but wanted to send you both love and support from the UK. Hope you both had a great day. Yes. Thank you, Carlton.
Oh, thank you.
This was supposed to say yesterday. Okay, Carlton. Thank you. Dr. Zoo 702. In New Batman, I would love to see the change we saw in an animated series where he changes costume color, saying he set out to scare criminals, not children.
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. If they go the Brave and the Bold route, maybe.
I like that sentiment. It's another one of those. I don't know if that'll land in a film production of it, because like animated, it also made sense. Like so many heroes and villains had brightly colored costumes or other things like that. And here, where he is supposed to be the knight, he is vengeance, and also has to wear a certain amount of tactical gear.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want any color splashes on there.
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking about the Matt Reeves Batman, then I don't think that's going to happen. But if you're talking about the James Gunn Batman, I think there's a possibility, but you still have to establish a baseline of what his colors were first before you make the decision to change it. So if that's the journey he goes on in the movie, then great. By the end, that could be interesting. But right off the bat, having him say that seems odd, since we've had no exposure to Batman in the James Gunn DCU. Yeah. It'd be odd. Dark Smirk 1 says, even if he loses, I just want a pissed off Magneto fighting Doom to save his people, just like in the Secret Wars comic. Will Secret Wars bring in the new X-Men?
Ooh, I don't feel like it fully will. Do you?
The rumor I'd heard is their X-Men is going to follow pretty quickly after Secret Wars, like 2 or 3 months, 4 months afterwards. And of course, we have, I think Jeff reported it was going to be in June of the next year or something. So I think you might be right though, Chris. I think we're going to see elements of the X-Men come together. I don't think we're going to see the full X-Men team in Secret Wars necessarily. But I mean, it is a team's kind of film, so maybe. But I think there's going to be additions to the team by the time the movie actually comes out. So
yeah,
we'll see. C Black 1987 says, do we see the new T'Challa in Doomsday? I think I say we see a new Black Panther in Doomsday. I don't think if we're going to see the new T'Challa. What do you think?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I think, for sure. Well, it's one of those, do we get the variant? And does the variant come to our universe? Or is it Toussaint has aged, again, tremendously somehow through magic, what have you. We'll definitely see Black Panther. I just don't know who's going to be Black Panther.
Yeah. And Chris, they got to be dangerous with these variants. You can't just bring everybody back that died and go like, well, they're variants. And people are going to be like, oh, sure. It seems like you undercut your storytelling.
Exactly.
You do that with every character, right?
You got to have some real stakes and some real deaths with that.
Yeah. Agreed. Jared 8846. I know it won't happen, but we know Pattinson can play multiple versions of himself, like in Mickey 17. We could also see that for Batman. Reeves Batman and Gunn's Batman. I know it won't happen. No, it will not happen.
No.
You're saying you want him to do a different Batman and Gunn's Batman, but still be the Batman from Reeves's Batman. So he's just like changing personalities depending on which. That's code switching. I don't know if he'll code switch as Batman.
Yeah, is he the actor who could do it? 100%. He's great. He can do anything. Is that what would work best for these movies? Probably not, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm going to say no as well. But I like the idea.
Yeah.
CC Black 1987. How brutal and sad do you think the incursions in Doomsday will be? You have to top the snap at the end of Infinity War. Oh, great question.
Yes, you do. Yeah, I think it's got to be pretty gnarly.
Yep. I think there's going to be a lot of deaths in Doomsday. A lot of deaths in Doomsday. Because you've got to establish also how powerful Doom really is. And and the rumor is he's going to kill Thanos. Thanos is going to bring back in, he's going to kill Thanos. So that's how you establish the power of Doom, is that he's able to wipe out all of these heroes, plus your big baddie who's come back from the last time you had a universally cataclysmic event. So yeah, I could see that. Haskell 420. Hey, John and Chris. What's up, Haskell? What was the best, coolest, or biggest surprise Christmas gifts you got and you gave your significant other? Ooh, good question.
Man, I lucked out this year. I got some really cute stuff. I've got my Chewbacca slippers on from my husband.
Oh, nice.
I really like them. My parents got us a Sonos sound system though, which is probably that's the big gift that we got. That's crazy. A new turntable, because ours back here is wobbly. And then for him, every year I get him an action figure. And this year I pre-ordered him the Tamashii Nations Peter B. Parker nice. One from Spider-Verse, because he loves that character. He's been him for Halloween like 3 years in a row. So I was really excited. What'd you give?
Well, we usually just do gift cards because we're not, but that's not true. She's so smart at gifts. I'm terrible. I'm just a stupid dude. I just go, honey, what do you want? I'll get it for you. like I got her a Mac Mini recently because she's exploring getting into photography, and I was like, well, I have the Apple Card and I can pay it off over 6 months, so I'll get it for you. And so, like, what do you want? And I'll give it to you, right? Where she's better at. I think women are just, and I don't want to stereotype, but I believe women are just smarter at listening to dudes and go like, oh, I'll get him that, because dudes are stupid. Like, we just don't pay attention all the time. You probably have
cheat. I have a note. Maybe that I just put on my phone.
Is that what
and
it
so
is?
every time, Logan will mention something, I pop it on there. Where he's like, oh man, I can't believe I loaned that book and people didn't get it for a return. I'll be like, oh, that sucks. And that way I look like a wizard, but it's just because I'm making a list.
So we have notes go, what did I order last time at Taco Bell? That's what our notes are for. That's what we use as dudes.
It's perfect though.
Helps us out. Surprising. I guess when my parents got me an Atari when I was a young kid, like getting an Atari, I didn't think I was going to get it because we were very poor growing up. So when I got an Atari, I was shocked out of my mind. That's one of the great gifts. But like that gif of the kid screaming and when he opens the thing.
Oh yeah,
that was basically me when I was 10 years old.
Sure. Mine for that was my dad used to build us everything. I used to quote, I would quote Charlie Brown Christmas because he'd say, what do you want this year for Christmas, Christine? And I would go, real estate, because that's what Lucy Van Pelt said.
Yeah, yeah.
And I went through a big horse phase, as most girls do. And so he built me a horse stable and he made me a deed so that I would have real estate.
Wow.
It was the cutest thing ever.
Yeah. See, dads pay attention. They do.
They do.
Sure.
Yeah.
CC Black says, how many phases and years should be in the mutant saga?
The phases I kind of think are just like they are.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like Marvel's idea of Q1, so they can keep all their ducks in a row. So I'm not sure however long it takes to properly tell the story.
Can we just get one right? I don't even want to go that far. Okay, let's get one film right, and then I'll worry about phases and years. I would say, I guess now initially I would say 1 to 2 phases tops, because you shouldn't need that long to establish the mutant saga and wrap it up and then just accept that mutants are. But I have to believe that we're almost after this phase. I think we're getting close to the end. I think Marvel is going to be more sporadic after this phase and they establish the mutants. I don't think we're going to see like we saw in the heyday. I just have a feeling that's the way it's going to go, because I think the public's tastes are evolving and changing when it comes to this stuff. And I don't know necessarily that any Marvel or DC, any brand is going to be able to keep getting in front. Plus, when AI comes in the mix, God knows what's going to happen at that point, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Michael DA81 just wanted to wish you both a belated Merry Christmas and a safe and happy New Year.
Oh, thank you, Michael.
Great smile, brother. I love that smile. You look really happy, dude. Peter Stone, High 6IR, says, a Bat-Fan movie is the most original thing to do with Batman at this point. The closest to it was the trash Batman and Robin movie from damn near 30 years ago.
I can't believe it was that long ago. I'm crumbling to dust. Jeez.
I walked out of that movie. I've never finished the last hour. As soon as the motorcycle race was done, I was like, fuck this, and walked out. So I don't know. I've never finished it. I don't know what happens at the end to Freeze and Ivy. I have no idea.
You should react to that one.
Maybe.
Oh,
Might not be a bad idea.
I was 7, so I had a blast.
Right. You're much
I was
younger
like, this
than
is the greatest movie I've ever seen, Dad. This is cinema.
This is cinema. Oh, man. CC Black, only 20% drop for Avatar 3, making $2 billion. I don't think so, but I don't know, because the other movies coming out aren't getting that strong a response either.
Oh.
So it's going to be Zootopia 2 and Avatar, because Wicked's pretty much fallen off now. And so I think those are the two that are going to be battling through the holiday season. So check back after the third weekend. I think we'll all have a better idea after the third weekend where Avatar hits. And it's just Friday. We don't know yet. By Sunday, that we'll have a better idea of the numbers, because Marty Supreme numbers are growing every day, because people are talking about like walk-ups are like crazy for Marty Supreme. So the numbers are changing for that too. Michael back again says, if you guys want, I can give my top 10 porn stars of 2025 for Winston. Do that for Winston next week.
Perfect.
Yeah. Dr. 702 says, new X-Men movie, they have to keep the iconic 97 opening music, right? at least mix it in there.
Well, they would, I think, because they did it in Ms. Marvel already, where it was like, there's something in your genes, a mutation. Like, that is the call of our people. You know, if you were a 90s kid, you hear that music and you'd become just like, ugh.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think you have to mix it in there somehow because, as you said, there's so many fans who immediately mark out at that song. So, yeah. Jody Money 1186 says, Chris, you're a genius. I need the 4 horsemen to take over Argus and have Peacemaker return from salvation to deliver the Hard Times promo. A computer took your world, Daddy. That's Hard Times. Oh, my favorite promo ever in the history of wrestling.
Oh, that's great. I love that so much. Dude, Jody, just a shameless plug. If you like that kind of mid-Atlantic wrestling era and everything too, on Two Filthy Casuals, we have a great podcast episode that is so specifically about that era. So go check that out. It's so funny.
I will check that out. I love it. I love that. That's the era I grew up on, for God's sakes. That was my awesome. Before I became a Hogan guy, I was a Dusty Rhodes guy, big time. That was my boy. So yeah, I swear to God, I watch that promo at least once every couple of weeks. I just watch the whole thing. It's just the best.
It's so fun.
I wanted to, if I had stayed another year in the Schmodown, I was going to do every promo as an echo of my favorite promos ever and just change the words around. And Hard Times is going to be my Schmodown Spectacular promo for sure.
That's awesome. That would have killed.
Reach through the camera. I feel you. I did it for you. Love you. Oh, anyway. All right. Julius White, 89. Lordy is my favorite performance. Saved the movie for me. Oh, in Frankenstein.
Oh, yes. Frankenstein. Oh, he's incredible.
Yeah, I think he should be nominated. I don't know if he will, but I think he should be nominated for Best Supporting Actor. He's incredible in that movie.
Yeah.
Kenya King says Thanos has died 7 times now in the MCU. His death by doom wouldn't hold weight as one would think. You might be right, Kenya. You're absolutely right. It's in how they do it, right? I guess. What are your thoughts on this, Sam?
It is one of those, he's dying again? Huh? Okay. But he is the biggest bad we've had, you know, and the most, I think, successful. Because other than that, I think Loki is probably one of our more successful villains who stuck around. Marvel has kind of a almost monster of the week approach. It feels sometimes with their villains of they're in one movie and then they're gone forever. Yeah. And I think that's why we keep coming back to these other guys. But yeah, it just has to be done in a really one way that makes narrative sense, because it is, is he just coming back so he can do this? And 2, it has to be freaking brutal. It has to be something that is so jarring that we as an audience immediately are like, oh, nope, that's not Iron Man.
He has to squash him like Lesnar squashed Cena. Like, it has to be like that, where you're like, oh my God, he destroyed him. Yeah. Destroyed him with hardly any effort. And that could be the way to kill. I think you're right. The way they kill him is important. If he is going to die at his hands. JC33 says, the thoughts on Fallout Season 2 so far. I haven't watched the episode yet, so I'm waiting on that one.
Me neither.
Maybe today or tomorrow. Yeah.
I have to do that one too.
I think they made a mistake dropping it at the same time as Stranger Things. I think it's been such a mistake. Yeah. People don't want to shift their I know it's the holidays. You think people have more time. I don't want to shift their focus.
We don't. Yeah. No. I've got to watch that. I have to watch the finale of Heated Rivalry. Gotta see hockey boys kissing.
That's right.
I've got so much to do.
Avatar. There's so much to do.
I gotta see Avatar. I gotta see Marty Supreme. Lord.
Right. Kenneth Australia 3977. What's an actress that you think will be a horrible casting choice of a Marvel DC character, but you secretly want to see happen?
I mean,
a hell of a question.
Paul Giamatti for Batman, so Harloff can continue doing his bit forever.
I've not seen this bit. I'm gonna ask him on Monday to do this bit. I want to.
I think it's one of the buttons on there on the StreamYard. Okay. Yeah. You'll have to play it. It's fun. It's fun.
Giamatti buddy. All right, I'll have to see it. Does he have it? Oh, I don't see it. All right. If I find it, I'll play it. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, well, I don't know. A horrible casting choice of a Marvel DC character. I mean, I think, speaking of Kristian, Julia Roberts as Jean Grey, I would have hated that casting choice because I'm not always the Julia Roberts fan, but I actually would have liked to have seen what would have happened with that. Like, I think she would have been super interesting as a Jean Grey. And if you did Dark Phoenix storyline with Julia Roberts, That could have been interesting.
That could be very interesting. Yeah. I could see that.
Jared J8846, Lord Miller to direct Plastic Man and John Mulaney to star. Wishful thinking.
I like part of this.
You like the Lord Miller part?
I like the Lord Miller part. Yeah. And this is mostly because, John Mulaney, he's hilarious. He's wonderful. Honestly, I think he's quite a good actor. If you've watched Oh Hello, oh my God, so good. But Gail Simone, who's written Plastic Man so much, she's written it in the voice of Ben Schwartz. And that's who I want it to be. I think Ben Schwartz would eat it up.
You're so right. He's so perfect. He's so great at Sonic. I love John Ralphio from Parks and Rec. So 100%. I would love to see Ben play Plastic Man. That would be incredible. I agree with you, because we're out of the Jim Carrey possibility. That aged 20 years ago, but he would have been amazing as Plastic Man. But Ben Schwartz, that's a great choice. Harv's 4181 says Thanos dying 7 times is still preferable to Kang getting defeated by Ant-Man and some ants. Happy holidays.
Touche, Harvs. Touche.
I guess. I still defend. You know what? It's one of my guilty pleasures, Quantumania. I can't explain it, guys. I wish I could explain it. I can't. And I know you might think less of me. I totally respect that. But I don't have a problem with Corey Stoll becoming Maddox. I think it's hilarious, those scenes. And I didn't have a problem with Kang getting beat, because that's the point. Every Kang is going to get beat till we get to the Council of Kangs, so that they try to destroy the entire universe. So I didn't have such a problem with it. But I know that people do. So I totally respect that. But Love and Thunder, that's a whole other ball game. But Quantumania, I'll defend. Yeah, the G-Man 8119 says, I too have never finished 1997 Batman and Robin. Yes. Smart man. Maybe.
You guys are missing so many ice puns. You gotta.
I know, you're right. You're actually right. I should react to that one. It's not a bad idea. All right, that's all of them. That's all the questions. Thank you all so much. We got to 82 questions, so I think it's pretty respectable for the day after Christmas, especially when we're not talking about porn stars. So I will take the 82. We appreciate you all madly. Chris, it's been great to meet you and very fun to work with you.
This has been so nice. I've loved this.
I hope so. I hope I held on as best I could. You were amazing.
Dude,
you worked with some great people. So, I did my best. Please let people know where they can find you, what you got going on.
Oh, you can find me on Instagram. It's Chris Carr. That's where you can keep up with me doing stuff for Two Filthy Casuals, wherever you get your podcasts. We are taking a week off because of the holidays, but we have so much stuff in our back catalog. Go check those out. If you are interested in voice acting, my husband and I run a voiceover studio online, speakfriendstudio.com. So head on over there. We have some deals right now where we're doing 101 classes for $165. That's 4 1-hour classes for just you. And then in the new year, we'll have new group classes. So definitely go check that out.
There you go. Oh. Thank you, Chris. So good to see you. Again, so good to work with you. Go follow her everywhere she does her stuff. She's an amazing talent and amazing person. From just the limited exposure I had with her today, she reminds me of a friend I have named Mike Fox, who has this very positive energy all the time and a sweet approach to things, but still very strong in her opinion. So it was great working with her today. Follow her. And as a voiceover guy, I cannot recommend you all taking courses with her if you're even considering it and remotely thinking about it, because it's important to have a little foundation of knowledge about voiceover before you get into it. It's not just like Chris Rock said, walking into a mic and saying shit. You have to have a lot of ability and technical knowledge and know-how so that you can rise above the other people who get into it. That's something I had to learn when I was getting into voiceover, doing some stuff on Transformers and The Princess Diaries. You got to learn how to do it to get good at it. So, there you go. Follow her stuff and definitely subscribe there and take those classes. For everyone else, I love you all madly. Have a great rest of your weekend, holiday weekend. Hope you do it well. Relax, take care of yourselves. For those of you who are suffering through the hard times right now of the holidays, we send you our love. And I will end with my ending that I usually end on my show, but I'm going to bring it here to the Kristian Harloff Show. We love you. So whatever you need to do to get through the next second, next minute, next hour, next day, next week, next month, next year, we'd like you to do that, because you never know what can happen for you in your life. If you just hang on, move forward, even a pinky toe step, you might be able to change your life or move your life into a more positive direction. And for all of you who've survived through tough times, thinking you can't survive through maybe the holidays, guess what? You're undefeated surviving hard times because you're still here, and that matters. So just send that out to anybody who might be dealing with some stuff or needs a pep talk today. We care about you, and we want you to stick around with us here on the channel in 2026. And as for me, you can also follow me at The Rocha Says on all the social media. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, The Rocha Says, it's the John Rocha channel. It's youtube.com/John Rocha Says. All right, take care of yourselves. Be well. We'll be back on Monday, and we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of Capes and Cows here on the Kristian Harloff channel. Peace.